This makes me giddy inside. Ivanka and Jared, this makes me giddy inside. So yesterday, before I went out, I was doing some scrolling, and this video was all over my timeline, both on Twitter and on Threads.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the islands. We went on a hike barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated, and it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it, but with a lot of restraint and care, because the land is so beautiful that really the architecture has to be fully integrated into it, almost rise from it. You know, it's not even a business for me, despite the scale of it. We not only the islands, but we have 5 miles of beachfront directly across from the island. This beautiful peninsula with a lagoon on one side, the ocean on the other, beautiful white sand beaches. For me, it feels more like a challenge than anything else. The culmination of all of my experience in real estate, all of my travel, a lot of reflection on how I want to live, how I think people increasingly are wanting to live, and trying to really build something that's a tangible manifestation of that. That requires a lot of vision, the collaboration of some of the greatest masters that exist. So I was just there walking the land, really just trying to sort of be with it and experience it alongside some of the greatest living architects of our time, like true masters of their craft, people with integrity so absolute, like there will be no compromise. And that's something we want to create there. So we're very excited.
Number one, the people are calling this island that her and her husband are going to build up, they're calling it Epstein Island 2.0. The second thing about this island, she's talking about it as if this island is out in the middle of nowhere. No one owns this island. The truth is, they are stealing this island from the Albanian people. That island is owned by Albania. And the Albanian people are not happy. The Albanian people have been out in the streets protesting their government for months about them purchasing this island. A massive coastal development project linked to Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, is facing growing resistance from protesters in Albania. Looks like Jared Kushner is having problems at his day job as the founder of Affinity Partners, Albania's special structure against corruption and organized crime known as SPAC, confirmed it was investigating Kushner's project, a multi-billion-dollar resort on Sazan Island. And then I came across this article from Organized Crime and Corruption. Albania freezes assets in Kushner's resort probe. Let's read it, shall we? A widening property fraud investigation into a $4 billion luxury resort linked to Jared Kushner has led Albanian authorities to freeze developer assets, compounding pressure from public protests and international critics. Albanian anti-corruption prosecutors on Tuesday froze the bank accounts of a land-holding company tied to a controversial $4 billion luxury resort project backed by Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law. The escalating crisis over the coastal development has triggered mass protests, a sharp diplomatic rift with neighboring Greece, and stern warnings from the European Union. The preventive seizure ordered by the special prosecutors against corruption and organized crime targeted Albania land development amid a widening investigation into allegedly fraudulent property titles. The company, owned by the prominent Qatari entrepreneurs Motaz and Ramez Al Kayat, recently purchased beachfront plots in Zvernik. I'm sure I'm pronouncing these names wrong. The protected coastal area alongside the Adriatic Sea near the southern city of Vlora is where Kushner's investment firm, Affinity Partners, plans to build an elite mega resort. The legal intervention follows days of intense public unrest. Over the weekend, thousands of demonstrators marched through the capital, Tirana, under the banner "Albania is not for sale." Environmental groups and local residents are protesting the development's encroachment on the Pisciporonarte protected area, a sensitive Mediterranean wetland critical for flamingos and nesting sea turtles. Public outrage boiled over after recent clashes between local residents and private guards hired to secure the construction site. Viral footage from the site showed a guard punching and dragging a protester away from the fenced-off beach. In response to the violence, the state police announced an internal investigation into the command structure of the Vlora Regional Police Directorate. Authorities also arrested Gerald Biba, a 32-year-old employee of the private firm Majority Security, charging him with unlawful deprivation of liberty and intentional minor injury. Prime Minister Edi Rama of Albania condemned the guards' actions as disgusting, but fiercely defended the resort project as the country's ticket to the Champions League of global tourism. He asserted that 5 top international architecture firms are redesigning the master plan to safeguard the environment, emphasizing that the lagoon itself will not be touched. Rama also defended the foreign backers of the project while validating the investigation into the local land sellers. Quote, "The investors are within their rights. Blocking the transaction is arbitrary and negative. However, blocking the transfer of money to the owner who is under suspicion is welcome. If the investigation finds that there are individuals who have fraudulently claimed ownership, the money should go to those who are the legitimate owners." End quote. The violence has caused severe friction with Athens, elevating a local land dispute to an international diplomatic incident. Greece's Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed deep concern over the incident in Zvernik, confirming that a Greek citizen was among the injured residents protesting for their property rights. The Greek embassy in Tirana provided medical assistance to the victim and formally filed representations to the Albanian government demanding accountability. Athens also issued a broader warning tied to Tirana's aspirations for Western integration, stating that upholding minority property rights and protecting ecological areas are a prerequisite for progress in the accession process. Rama dismissed the diplomatic intervention from Athens, countering that historical property disputes must be settled strictly in Albanian courts rather than through external political framing. However, the European Commission echoed Greece's rule of law and environmental concerns, throwing Albania's European Union aspirations into sharper focus. A Commission spokesperson warned that Brussels is closely monitoring the protected landscape. Quote, "As stated in our 2025 annual report, The repeated extension of the law on strategic investments continues to raise concerns about possible environmental impacts, particularly in protected areas, adding that Albania must demonstrate total compliance with European conservation standards to avoid its membership bid.
Riots are breaking out across Albania, and that's because Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump want to build $1.4 billion of luxury hotel on protected and indigenous land to Albanians in a luxury resort project that is linked directly to Israel. Things have gotten so bad that this is the house of the prime minister who changed the laws to allow this to happen. They have completely set his house on fire. The plan is to develop parts of Sazan Island into a high-end resort. This is not just an empty lot, this is protected Albanian land. It's an ecologically very sensitive area, home to protective marine life, migratory birds, and one of the Mediterranean's most important coastal ecosystems. These protests erupted after Ivanka Trump came out and said that the Sazan Island is a private island that they discovered, which is insane. This is not some random land that they just discovered. This has been protected Albanian land, and it's very sacred to the Albanian people, and no one's talking about it. No American outlet, no American creator is talking or covering it. Please be the voice for Albanian people. If this resort gets built, it's going to be incredibly devastating for the Mediterranean, the marine life in the Mediterranean, and just general nature, and it's just so fucked up.
That island has protected wetlands for the wildlife in that area. They didn't just happen upon this island. This island belongs to the Albanian people, and the Albanian people want that island to stay protected for the wildlife in that area. Jared Kushner and his wife happened upon this island and said, oh, this is beautiful and perfect for Epstein Island 2.0. Furthermore, because that island is of protected wetlands, what they did to try to acquire this island, the Albanian government rolled back laws, overturned laws, so that Jared Kushner and Ivanka could purchase that island without input or approval from the Albanian people. And she's doing interviews proud and excited about this island that they discovered while they were swimming off of the coast of it. And now all assets in regards to this project has been frozen. I found this little tidbit out there over there on Twitter. It kind of breaks down the true meaning of those frozen assets. Whale Scan says, stop scrolling. Do you understand what a frozen bank account actually does to a $4 billion resort project? Because most people are watching the protest footage and missing the math. Albania Land Development, the Qatari-owned company that holds the coastal land Affinity Partners needs to build, had its bank account seized by SPAC on June 2nd, 2026. No bank accounts means no transactions. No transactions means no construction financing can move. Not $1 billion, not $100 million, not a single wire. You don't freeze the land vehicle for an environmental complaint. You freeze it when prosecutors believe the underlying property titles are fraudulent and you're afraid the money moves before you can stop it. And here's the part nobody's connecting. The 2024 land reclassifications that made this project legally possible are now the subject of a criminal investigation. The titles are under fraud review. The bank accounts are frozen. and the probe opened and the freeze landed within 24 hours of each other. That's not a slow regulatory process. That's prosecutors running. Kushner announced this deal in August 2024, visited the site with Ivanka in early 2026, called it a vision for the Albanian coast. The Senate was already scrutinizing Affinity's foreign deals before any of this. A frozen land company with allegedly fraudulent titles and a widening criminal probe is not a permitting delay. It's the structural end of the project as currently built. I'll keep you updated. Turn on notifications. And I clicked followed and turned on the notifications. In reading posts here and posts there, this project is also tied to It's Not Real. How could we not know that It's Not Real is not also a part of this project? These lying, corrupt, con men, low-class individuals with billions of dollars will roam the earth to rape, steal, and pillage from every ethnic group of people just to build up their own wealth. Demons is what they are. Shout out to the Albanian people. I hope this project never gets off the ground, and I would love to see Jared Kushner follow in the footsteps of his criminal daddy and ends up wearing the same bracelets that his daddy once wore that landed him in prison.